Hey everyone, and welcome back to Mission 1820 and this week's episode of Have You Ever Wondered? If you're just joining us, we're in a series called Books of the Bible. And what we've been doing is giving introductions into each book of the Bible in just 5 minutes or less. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this week's book. This week we're in the book of Daniel. This is the 27th book of the Bible, and it's the last of the 5 major prophet books in the Old Testament. Now, the book of Daniel is categorized as apocalyptic literature, and scholars tell us that this type of writing is very special writing that arose among the Jews and the Christians in order to reveal certain mysteries about heaven and earth, especially regarding the world to come. Now, this type of writing is often illustrated by the use of dreams and visions, which the book of Daniel has plenty of. Now, the book was written by the prophet Daniel sometime between 540 and 530 BC. And what it does is it records the events of the Babylonian captivity, and it also describes the apocalyptic visions that were given by God to Daniel. The book is only 12 chapters long, and it can be divided naturally, I think, into these 3 parts. Part 1 is the personal history of Daniel. This is found in chapter 1. Part 2 is the prophetic plan for the Gentiles, and this is in chapters 2 through 7. And the third part is the prophetic plan for Israel, and this is in chapters 8 through 12. Now, as for the key players in the book, you're going to read about Daniel, King Nebuchadnezzar, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, as well as Belshazzar. Now, each of these play very important parts in the events taking place, such as the fiery furnace. This is in chapter 3, when Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego they refuse to bow down to King Nebuchadnezzar and his image of gold. Therefore, they are thrown into the fiery furnace. Chapter 6, we have the lion's den with Daniel. Now, he's thrown into the lion's den because of his faith. And then in chapter 5, we have the handwriting on the wall with Belshazzar. The book of Daniel clearly belongs to that period among God's covenant people, which we know now as the Babylonian captivity. You see, King Nebuchadnezzar begins taking captives from Judah on 4 separate occasions, beginning in 605 BC. Now, among his first group of captives were Daniel and his 3 friends. Now, Daniel and his friends, well, they are found wise and capable above all others, and they're soon recruited to serve in the royal palace of Babylon. However, they're going to be pressured to give up their Jewish identity by living and eating like Babylonians. Now, this violates their Jewish food law, which is found in the Torah. Well, they refuse, and instead they choose faithfulness to God. Well, this decision puts them in some grave danger, but God ultimately delivers them, and they go on to be elevated by the king of Babylon. One of the more special considerations, I think, of the book is found in chapter 9. It contains Daniel's study of the prophecy of the 70 years of captivity, or what we know now as the 70 weeks of Daniel. You see, Daniel called on God to shorten the time of their grief, and God did answer him through the angel Gabriel. Now, he gave Daniel the prophecy of the 70 weeks, or what they call the 77s in the book. So why do we need to read this book? Well, much like Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, we always need to stand for what we know is right in God's eyes. God is ultimately greater than any punishment that can come upon us. And whether or not God decides or chooses to deliver us, he's always worthy of our trust. And in the end, God knows what is best for us, and he honors those who trust and obey him. And as you read Daniel, watch God as he works his plan. Now, with that, I hope that this introduction is going to help get you started in the book of Daniel. So God bless, and thanks for watching.